What's up, everybody? My name is Kobe Cornell Boone. I want to say thank you for taking the time to click on this video and check out the intent. This is where authentic conversations happen about everything from fatherhood, being a husband, being a leader within your community, most importantly, being a follower of Christ, and man, just authentic conversations about the world that we live in and exist in today. So, boom. If this is your first time, I hope you found value in today's video. If you do, I just encourage you to like, share, subscribe. Send this to somebody that you know that would also find value in this type of content. And man, let's get into it. Today I have a pretty dope topic that I feel like I want to touch on for sure. With a lot of things happening in the world and just this idea of like uh, accountability for men, taking more responsibility for men, and speaking as a man, I felt like I have a lot of value that I could add to the conversation. So, like the subject line says today, the topic that I have is the apex man. The apex man, debunking the myths of the alpha male. Most specifically, my thoughts on continuous improvement, man. Continuous improvement. Um, I kind of want to take my time with this one. So, I would say that historically in my life, I've had the opportunity to be around a lot of different guys. Um, Partially because I'm a man, but different arenas of life. I've been in nightlife since I was 14 years old. Is when I started in nightlife. I'm not in it anymore, but used to be in nightlife. Started when I was 14 years old. Around ex NFL players, personalities, people that you would say of stature within their community or popularity, whatever the case may be. I've worked with restaurant owners. I have been around celebrities, some before they were celebrities, some after. Um, Being an athlete, football, basketball, and track, high school, hanging with a lot of athletes in college as well. I've just been around a different clique of guys. I've been around fraternity guys. Stayed in what would be considered a frat house for much of my time in college. That's another video for another day. I've just been around a lot of different cats, man. I've been around cats who folks said they were the most popular, they were the most cool. I've also befriended people in high school because I talked to everybody, man, who people would deem not the coolest kid in school, but I knew them by name and had a friendship, if you will. And one thing I can say about guys, man, is that there is definitely a pecking order that we establish amongst ourselves as young men. You know, you're trying to figure out who's the biggest, who's the fastest, who's the strongest early on. And while some of that competitive nature is phenomenal for men, the way in which we compete when we get older is, if not equally, even more vitally important. And it constitutes exceptional play, if you will, in various avenues and areas of your life. Not just are you the biggest, are you the fastest, are you the strongest, are you the smartest? And if not the smartest, are you intelligent? Do you make wise decisions that are based on wisdom and counsel? Are you a critical thinker? Do you think ahead besides what's just immediately in front of you? Are you thinking about maybe 10 or 15 steps ahead and whatever avenue that you're in at that particular time or that you're looking into? And for me, as I've gotten older, um, and hindsight being 2020, I'm 28 years old now, and I find myself looking at my 20s. I was just saying this the other day, walking through the house, about being a younger man and how more sexual discipline, if you will, more sexual discipline, more relational, from a relationship standpoint, more discernment, how those two factors really can catapult a young man to the next level in his life and be able to achieve that next level so much earlier. That could be financial, that could be a marriage, that could be career wise. These are things that are significantly detrimental to young men, man. And I've there's this concept, Japanese concept called Kaizen, which is about becoming 1% better every day, just every day, continuous improvement, no matter what, on a daily basis, and that's something that I have truly taken into account into this pursuit that I have of being an apex man. Today, y'all see me, I'm getting ready to go to the range. the gun range for a little bit, have some fun with my Beretta A300 and some of my other toys as well. And then I'm gonna go to the state park, a new state park that I've been wanting to check out for a while, in South Texas. And then later on today, I'm gonna spend time with my wife and family and enjoy some good food, man. Like and I'm only sharing that in the catalyst of like what a day looks like for me on a Saturday morning, but I remember when it wasn't like this. Like I remember when it was like stressing about money and finances and everything that I do, every hobby, every activity, anything that I enjoy, it has to produce money because it has to because you're not in a good position, if you will. And it's gonna tie into what I'm saying today for the topic. So when I relate that to being like an apex man, it's not saying that everything is all fine and dandy and there's no longer challenges. But for me, when I look at how do I achieve the apex or the top of my own existence, if you will, is there is continuous improvement in everything that I invest into, whether it's firearms, whether it's my health and my fitness. Um, Check out one of my latest PR videos on my shorts. Whatever it is, how can I push myself to the brink of what I believe is my max capability to be able to go to that next level and that next edge? And I think for today, today's day and time, when I hear a lot of guys talk, man, and chat, and this video is a little bit different than some of the ones I've done before, but I feel passionate about this. When I see a lot of guys talk and chat, man, um, I'm judging because I'm called to judge. I judge off of face value what somebody shows me, man. To me, to be an exceptional man to lead and guide others, man. I'm wondering what your wife says about you if you're married. If you're not married, cool. Hey, hopefully the goal is to get married. But what do others say about you? You know, when you're around and when you're not around, how do people speak about your character? How do people speak about how you instilled into others to help lead them to be better off, and whatever their avenues or pursuits are? And I see a lot of times with the podcasts that are out today, a lot of conversations, it's a lot of talk from a lot of people that haven't really done anything yet, you know? And the fruit is always there. If you dig a little bit deeper, you can see, like, bro, it ain't that hard. Like, anybody who's telling you they're alpha and they're out of shape, you might as well go ahead and cut it off. Anybody who tells you they're super rich but they don't own land, they don't own, you know what I'm saying, or that's not something that you see, and not that people have to put out everything they own online or whatever the case may be. But for the people who are in that avenue that talk about everything else, but they don't talk about ownership, they don't talk about implementation of businesses and hiring others and equipping other people to go ahead and move forward, but it always seems to be the center of attention is on them. I would have a discerning spirit on if that is. I would really use the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit to discern whether that's the type of man you should be following. You know, whether that's the type of content that you should be looking to, for your definition of a man. And why I think that's important, and I also think that it's dangerous, is that for young men, myself included, in many times in my life, when we don't have a very active, present father in our lives, we'll call everybody a mentor. We'll call everybody a big bro. We'll continue to look for a definition of what type of man we want to be or what type of man we think we should be, and every glamorized form of masculinity, whether it's toxic, whether it's healthy or not, will look for it. Just like a young man from the streets. I mean, if his mother is at work, dad's not around, whatever the case may be, and he's turning to the streets, he's looking up to the guys on the corner. He's looking up to the gangsters. He's looking up to the gang members because that's the only definition of manhood that he has. And if he's not in a community, a master plan community or something like that, which may or may not be if he's in the streets for real, but he may not see the definition or see the man who gets up day in and day out and goes to work on a construction site, comes back home to his wife at 5:30, 6 o'clock, whatever the case may be, while he's playing out in the middle of the road. Not in the middle of the road, but y'all know how people play in neighborhoods or whatever. It's things that you see. Freddie Jackson used to be a running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I always use his quote, exposure leads to expansion. And I think in this pursuit of how do we take back masculinity, how do we create more emotionally stable, healthy, masculine young men for the future, for my daughter to marry one day, and vice versa for other folks in the world. I think a part of it is really analyzing and holding accountable the people who are in these positions and having these conversations. I'm not saying go out and go troll some of the different podcasts and stuff. Like, I don't even know. The first thing that came to mind was Joe Budden, just because he comes up a lot, the rapper guy. Um, but also you got so many other podcasts and stuff I can't even think of. But like hold the people accountable. Just like I ask on my video, leave a comment in the comment section, leave some feedback. I want to make sure that what I'm putting out is actually just and actually true and valuable. Yeah, valuable for folks, valuable information for folks to be able to utilize for their life. And I think Kaizen is a great way to incorporate that into one's life to achieve, that apex level in every area, whether it's you golfing, okay, cool, hire a coach. If you can't hire a coach, get on YouTube. Find a YouTube coach with content. Go out and implement that. If it's your work, your job, your sales, your career, whatever the case may be, the continual pursuit of betterment in every avenue of your life, you'll look up and life will be a lot different. You know, some people say, put your head down and grind. I agree with that. There's definitely been circumstances and places in life that required me to, bro, just kind of, put the nose to the grind, so to speak. But more often than not, I've had more success with keeping my eyes to the hills, as they say, from which cometh my help. All my help coming from the Lord. I've had more success with looking to the hills, so to speak, at what the apex is or what my goal is, and being smart enough to know that the one avenue that I might think is the only way to get there may not be the only way to achieve that particular goal. Like life is not linear. Like it's like success is not linear. Life is not linear. There's so many different sh- paths, streets, roads, interactions, relationships that can get you from one place to another, jobs that can get you from one place to another, refund checks that can get you from one place to another. Like there's so many different facets, if you will, to help get you to your destination. And I truly believe that God uses every single one of those to navigate to get you there. But it's up to you, man. It's up to you to like realize uh realize what or self actualize what that apex for you is and get on the job of pursuing it, man. Like get after it. I used to hear that phrase so much, and I really didn't understand it so much because it's not like in my dialogue when people say get after it, just get after it. But it's very true, man. Like you got to get after something, taking back that concept or that understanding of like hunter gatherer, if you will. Like go out as a man, hunt for something, conquer something, kill something, and bring it back home so your family can eat. And uh, I think sometimes men do that really well, but they don't do that for themselves. Like, go out and hunt something for you. Go out and kill something for you. You start something new. You start something in your life that's gonna better you as an individual and a person. Incorporate that into your system, and now you have a better framework to be a better husband, a better father, because you're more complete as a man. And instead of taking the definitions that we have a lot of today, a lot of our strong male figures that played in action movies and roles in the 80s. And we just lost Carl Weathers yesterday, also known as Apollo Creed, Action Jackson from the 80s. Rest in power to that king who passed on yesterday. Um, we're losing a lot of representation that a lot of young guys like myself, grew up watching, that had principles of character, little catchphrases and things that we grew up on, and the definitions of what we're seeing from masculine men, if you will, today on a lot of the movies, videos, commercials, and stuff like that. It just really puts men in this willy nilly position. In the country, they call it Johnny Come Lately, like or Jody. It really puts us in a lot of weird positions and stuff that's just not all the way actual truth. I don't think the whole world of men has gotten entirely softer. I think the world has gotten easier for a lot of folks as a whole with technology, with more education, things of that nature. But it's not it's not as bad as the internet, and I think the world will like us to deem and to seem. I know some incredible men that take care of their families and their wives. I know some incredible men who take care of other folk kids. Come on, somebody. Like I know, and these are personal, personal interactions. But if we don't all as a collective strive to be better in our different areas and go after continuous improvement, then the narrative that's being painted is going to become far more the truth because a representation is not there to combat that. You know what I'm saying? Like if the picture only looks like if the picture that's being painted is only going to be painted one way, and then the truth, which is like the reality that walks past that painter every day, um, is not there, then the person's gonna say, "Hey, then whatever narrative is being painted, that's what I'm gonna believe. That's what's in front of me every day." Because we in our own individual lives aren't striving to be the best version of ourselves, which blesses everybody around us, right? Everybody around us who sees us. Um, like I said, this video is probably a little bit of a monologue, but on this pursuit, I'll wrap up with this. On this pursuit that I have personally of being like the apex man for myself, I am not only doing this for myself, but I am challenged with the belief that I am here solely to be a disciple of the gospel of Jesus Christ and bring others to him. That's it. That's my whole being is to love God, love my family, lead others to him and live a purpose driven life. And for me, I would assume that while a lot of young men are confused when they look online and they see a lot of different narratives, they see a lot of different agendas, uh, just conflicting beliefs from where we gotten from as a nation here in the Western world, from like Christian principles and morals. It can be hard. It can be hard to date. I can see that for sure. It can be hard to make friends. It certainly can be hard to make friends with other guys, and I just want to encourage a brother that's out there, man. Is like, man, as you continue to focus on your path, focus on your journey, keep your eyes on the prize, if you will, for where it is that you want to be inside your life. And most importantly, keep God first at the head of all of that. It brings everything else into alignment. It brings your relationships into alignment, your personal relationships, your intimate relationships. It brings your household into alignment. If you don't have kids yet, it'll give you the principles and the guidance that you need to set the charter for your family and really focus on what that North Star looks like. Man, you got to put God first in your life and you got to get after it, man. Find something, find an activity, find a hobby, find those areas in your life that need improvement and aggressively and viciously attack those areas to become better. And you'll just start to see everything come up. Not saying it's gonna be perfect. Dang sure not saying it's gonna be easy, but when you discover what your summit is, what the apex for you is, and you start on that path of getting there, man, it's one of the most fulfilling feelings that you'll have. One of the most fulfilling feelings that you have when you're like, bruh, I'm getting there. I ain't where I used to be. I'm dang sure not where I want to be at, but man, I'm daggone getting there, bro. And that's a beautiful feeling. That's a beautiful feeling. So that's this video for today. If this was encouraging to you, this is a little bit different than some of my videos, I know for sure. But if this was encouraging to you, man, I just ask you leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, send this to a brother that you know, and let me know if you want more content like this as well, man. But hey, guys, get out there, get after it, become the best version of you. You know, God bless.